Well, the time has finally come where I need to deal with all of my seedlings that need to be uppotted. Not comfortable with this idea yet, but I have a couple of decoy plants out still and they have not been eaten, so I think that's probably a good sign. Although, famous last words. I guess I'm just going to start uppotting them, my plants. They are getting way too tall for what I have them in, and I need to start getting these out into the garden. Let me show you what I'm dealing with as far as my seedlings are concerned. Herein lies one problem, is that when I open up the box here that keeps them safe from the little critter, they have grown so big that they are starting to catch here, so that's one problem. But the other problem is they have grown so tall that they are hitting the top screen here, and that's just not good. So I am just going to start slowly uppotting my guys, my little seedlings here, and I think I'm going to start with the ones that have the most, which these were actually a free seed in my last order that I got, and every one of them, it looks like that I started or I planted sprouted. I believe there is like 24 of these. These are called the Woolly Kate, yellow Woolly Kate tomato. So I'm just going to start by uppotting this, and that's a lot of tomatoes. Now again, these I'm not going to plant all of these here at my house. A lot of these are going to go to the school and any family members that may want some tomatoes. So I went ahead and started labeling my cups. These are recycled cups from the last couple years' gardens. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to transplant one tomato seedling into each one of these cups, and in these cups is where they will live until they go out in the garden. And like I said, they've already been labeled. They're already all labeled. So I am going to start by, these are all some of the other things that I'm going to plant or uppot at some point. And that's not even the half of them. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of line up my cups here like so. And then just start filling them up with soil. I'll start with that many, and I am just going to take my cup and just start filling them. I probably should actually get this soil wet just to make it a little easier to work with. And this is the same soil that I use to fill my beds with, since I just have so much of it that I'm just going to use this when I'm uppotting these plants. Now I think that this part can be somewhat intimidating for a lot of new gardeners. Is separating your tomatoes, or any of your seedlings for that matter. This, I think, is what I'm going to start doing from here on out as far as starting seeds, is just put the seeds all in here just like this. It takes up less room. I can get a lot more done in a lot quicker amount of time, but this is easy. They are pretty forgiving unless you pretty much pull the whole entire root off of the little seedling. But for the most part, you can be pretty, I mean, I don't want to say aggressive, but aggressive, I guess. And I'll show in a few days that all of these have survived. So here's one little seedling. I'm just going to come in and as I take them apart, just kind of lay them in the cup that they're going to live in. And one of them is actually going to go right back in there. So these smell like fresh grass. Like the roots on these smell like fresh grass for some reason. It's kind of interesting. So I'm just going to get in here and just kind of put a hole. I want my roots to go down pretty far. And the thing with tomatoes also, and you can do this when you go to put them out in the garden, is, I don't know if you can see, but there's all these little hairs along the this part here of the tomato, and those can all turn into roots, which will make for a stronger plant. So don't be afraid to plant your tomatoes a little deep or build up the soil a little taller. Because those are just going to help make a strong, sturdy plant. All right. With this one, I'm going to try and get up close here so you can kind of see. I might lose some soil, but they come apart pretty easily, like so. And then right here I have 4, like that one just came out. This one actually is going to be pretty interesting. There are roots on there, but just so very few roots. So I'm going to see how that one grows. And I am going to come back through and backfill some of these. So that's why I'm not really pushing down too much, but you want to push down enough to where that your little plant is going to stand up. And I'm just taking my finger and just kind of making a hole and then kind of pushing the roots down inside the hole and then covering the hole up. And don't forget to water your little seedlings in. And if they fall over a little bit, it's fine. They will stand back up. And now what to do with them all, because, yeah. I have some plants up here, and then I have some over here, which these ones haven't really been messed with at all. So I'm hoping that they'll be okay over there. But I think what I'm going to do, because I'm only going to keep one of those, and so the one that I'm going to keep, I will probably put underneath a little protective box, and then the rest of them just will go here up here on the shelf, and they should be fine. So yeah, I just need to pick one that I want, and I actually don't think there was 24 in there, but close to it. So I'm just going to transfer those guys up here and then see which one I want to keep. Okay, so there was 24 of those tomatoes. I know that at some point I'm going to have to do some rearranging really quick because I don't like this, how this is working out up here. I want my seedlings down here on this shelf. So I think I might move these up here, the ones that I'm still working on, and then put my seedlings down here. That is still a lot of things to transplant. And this is what I have transplanted so far. Okay, so next I'm going to work on my serrano peppers. These ones I'm gonna do, I mean, pretty much the same, but just a little different. I'm not going to bury them like I would the tomatoes, because I just don't think the same thing works for them. I could be wrong, but again, other than that, it's pretty much the same. So just coming in and just kind of getting a feel for where the roots are, and then see, they just come apart super easy. Like, you don't even have to pull or tug or anything. And if you have plants that are separated like that anyways with a nice little plug, that's even better. So, but these ones right here are all pretty close together. So I'm just going to loosen up the soil a little bit, pull on a couple of them. That one came apart, that one came apart, and that one came apart. And then just laying them in where they're going, and I'm going to just put one back in there to use that. And then here we have two more that are like just super easy. They've just easily peel apart. It's raining right now, and being in the greenhouse and hearing the rain just kind of hit the roof of the greenhouse, there's just something very relaxing about it. Gardening in and of itself is very relaxing for me, but when it's raining and I'm in the greenhouse and I hear the rain hitting the roof, it's very peaceful. And just like that, I have 12 more little seedlings. I think I'm going to keep 2, maybe 3 of these plants each, and then I'm going to give the rest of them away. But I'm going to wait to see which ones survive and you know, all that stuff before I give them away, and hopefully none of them get eaten. That's a pretty impressive number of seedlings right there, and like I said, I still have all of these ones back here to go. And before long, my shelves are all going to be filled up with little sprouts that are going to be ready to go out into the garden. I'm sure you don't want to be bored with me uppotting the rest of my plants, but I will be back in a couple of days to show you if anything has died, if anything has been eaten, how everything is looking. Some of the plants that I watered have fallen over, and so if they're standing up, and to just overall check in with how things are going. I'm going to raise my grow lights here a little higher, and I'll be back. I am happy to report that it has been 24 hours after transplanting my seeds, and not one of them has been nipped, and they all look really good. I do definitely need to get the rest of these transplanted, and it's going to take me a while, but I want to show you just how everything's looking right now, 24 hours later. I did put up sticky traps here and here on either side, but this is what everything is looking like, exactly how I expected it to look. And I think that, yeah. I've added 20 more sprouts to my collection of veggies for the garden. And yeah, it's getting really exciting in here. I'm gonna wait one more day before I close out this video because I want to just make sure that nothing is going to eat my plants. But so far it's looking pretty darn good. So I came out here in the morning, had my coffee, and up-potted almost all of the other little seedlings. I do have maybe 20 more that I need to get done, but I'm gonna just save that for another time, another day. But all of this basically is to just say that gardening is not hard. It can be as easy or as complicated as you want it to be. Up-potting seedlings, although I was a little rougher than I normally am in this video, I was just doing that to show you that you can be a little bit rougher with the little guys than you think. They will recoup, they will recover. There are a few of the tomatillos that are just not doing very well, and I think that's just because they were the smaller, weaker ones. I'll show you all of my seedlings really quick. Like I was saying, like some of the tomatillos just are not doing great, just some of the smaller ones, but other than that, nothing has been chewed. So it is also time for me to get these planter boxes out into the garden so I can fill them up with soil and have them ready to go for all of my plants to go out there. But yeah, just get out there, grow a garden, and just know that it's a lot easier than you might think. And up-potting seeds is very easy. So thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.